Deep under the ocean, an American nuclear submarine suddenly sees something it was never meant to see. At first, everything inside the sub seems normal. The crew is moving through the Cayman Trough, deep below the surface, when their instruments begin acting strange. Lights flicker. Systems stop responding. For a moment, the crew thinks the problem has fixed itself, but then the submarine slams into the rocks. The impact damages the vessel, power fails, and within seconds, the crew loses control completely. Water begins forcing its way inside. The captain realizes they cannot save the submarine anymore, so they release a tracking beacon, hoping someone on the surface will find them before it is too late. Their signal is picked up by a Navy support ship. The problem is the wreck is too deep for a normal rescue team to reach quickly. Their best option is an underwater drilling platform called Deep Core, run by a tough oil worker named Bud. Bud and his crew are in the middle of their own job when they are suddenly ordered to stop everything. The Navy tells them their rig is the closest platform to the sunken submarine, and because of that, they are now part of the rescue mission. To make the offer harder to refuse, the company promises them triple pay. But Bud is not excited. His crew knows drilling, not military rescue work. This is a deep-sea disaster zone, and one mistake down there can trap everyone. The Navy assures him they are sending a SEAL team to handle the dangerous parts, but that does not make Bud feel much better. Then things become even more uncomfortable when Bud learns who else is coming down. His ex-wife, Lindsay. Lindsay is not just any engineer. She helped design Deep Core, which means she understands the platform better than anyone alive. But she and Bud clearly have unfinished history. The moment they see each other, the tension is obvious. She is sharp, serious, and not afraid to challenge anyone, while Bud tries to keep control of a situation that is already slipping out of his hands. Before entering the rig, Lindsay warns the Navy team about the pressure inside. This is not a normal environment. The crew lives in a compressed atmosphere, and even trained people can struggle with it. But the SEAL leader, Coffee, brushes off the warning like it does not matter. That one detail is important because from the beginning, Coffee acts like confidence is the same thing as control. Inside Deep Core, the oil crew meets the Navy team, and the atmosphere is instantly tense. Catfish jokes around, Hippie looks nervous, and the SEALs clearly do not respect the workers. To them, these men are just roughnecks. But the truth is, down here, the roughnecks know this world better than anyone. While checking the platform, Lindsay notices Bud is still wearing his wedding ring. She tells him she stopped wearing hers long ago. The argument gets personal fast, and in anger, Bud yanks off the ring and throws it away. But almost immediately, he regrets it. He goes looking for it and finds it inside a toilet, leaving his hand stained blue. It is a small moment, but it shows the truth. Bud pretends he has moved on, but he is not. Meanwhile, Coffee starts taking charge of the mission. Bud does not like it, because this is his rig and his crew, but the Navy has its own agenda. They prepare to dive to the wreck in 15 minutes. Before the mission begins, one of the SEALs shows the workers a strange new breathing system made for extreme depth. Instead of breathing air, the diver breathes a special oxygen-rich liquid. To prove it works, they place Hippie's pet rat into the liquid, and somehow, the rat keeps breathing. The workers are stunned. It looks impossible, but this technology may be the only way a human can survive far deeper than normal. Soon, the divers reach the sunken submarine. The wreck is dark, damaged, and silent. They move through the broken corridors searching for survivors while Hippie controls a small remote vehicle called Little Geek from the platform. But as Coffee investigates deeper, he discovers something terrifying. The submarine is carrying nuclear warheads. Now this is not just a rescue anymore. If those weapons are damaged or fall into the wrong hands, the situation could become a global crisis. Bud searches the wreck with Jammer, one of his strongest crewmen. But inside the submarine, the atmosphere becomes horrifying. Jammer sees crabs crawling out of a dead crewman's mouth, and panic takes over. Bud tells him to stay calm, but Jammer is already losing focus. Then, when Jammer is alone for a few seconds, his light begins to flicker. Something moves in front of him. Not human, not machine, but glowing and almost beautiful. A strange pink life form appears in his visor. Jammer panics. He tries to escape, hits his gear, and blacks out. At the same time, Lindsay spots something bright moving through the water from her submersible. She cannot explain what she saw, but she knows one thing. It was not part of the wreck. Back on the platform, news reports suggest that the submarine incident may be connected to the Russians. Tension is rising everywhere. A Russian vessel has also gone down, and now the world above the ocean is beginning to fear the worst. But Coffee is not waiting for answers. Without permission, he takes his SEAL team back to the submarine using one of the submersibles. His real focus is no longer the rescue. He wants control of the nuclear weapons. Then the ocean turns against them. A powerful hurricane moves across the surface. The Navy ship above tries to secure deep core, but in the chaos, a massive crane breaks loose and drops into the sea. It crashes near the underwater platform, then slides toward the edge of the trench. That falling crane becomes an anchor from hell. Its cable pulls deep core toward the abyss, dragging the entire platform across the ocean floor. Inside, the crew is thrown into chaos. Sections flood. People are injured. Some do not make it out. Monk is badly hurt, and the platform finally stops in a dangerous position near the edge. Deep core is no longer a rescue base. Now, it is a damaged underwater trap. The surviving crew tries to repair whatever they can. Their oxygen supply is low, their connection to the surface is damaged, and the storm above makes help almost impossible. Hippie somehow manages to save his rat, but everyone else understands how serious this has become. Then Lindsay sees the strange underwater beings again. This time, instead of fear, she feels something different. The creatures do not attack. They watch. They move with curiosity, almost like children discovering humans for the first time. Lindsay begins to believe they are not the enemy. With the platform damaged and supplies running low, she puts on a diving suit and heads into the dark water, hoping to recover oxygen canisters before the crew runs out of time. Outside the damaged platform, Lindsay gets closer to the strange lifeform than anyone else has. Instead of attacking her, the glowing creature calmly moves toward her, almost like it is studying her. Lindsay reaches out, and for the first time, a human touches something from deep inside the abyss. The moment changes everything for her. These beings are not mindless monsters. They are intelligent, curious, and strangely gentle. But while Lindsay is beginning to understand them, Coffee is moving in the opposite direction. Using the camera on Little Geek, Hippie notices something disturbing. Coffee and his SEALs have taken one of the nuclear warheads from the submarine. When Bud and Lindsay see the footage, they realize Coffee has been hiding the most dangerous part of the mission from everyone. Lindsay confronts him immediately, but one of the SEALs grabs her before she can get too close. Bud's crew quickly steps in to back her up, and for a few seconds, the whole platform feels ready to explode. Oil workers on one side, armed Navy men on the other, and in the middle is a warhead that should never have been brought aboard. The standoff ends before it turns worse, but Coffee is already too far gone. Behind his back, he secretly holds a pistol, ready to use it if anyone pushes him again. Bud still does not fully believe Lindsay's theory about the aliens. To him, she is risking everyone over something they barely understand. But then something impossible enters the platform. A long, snake-like column of seawater slides into the crew quarters. It moves as if it is alive, bending through the air without falling apart. The crew freezes as the water studies them. Then it forms a face, Bud's face, as if it is trying to communicate in the only way it can. For a moment, the platform goes silent. This is not an attack. This is contact. The water tentacle then moves toward Coffee, but he reacts with fear instead of wonder. He slams the door shut, cutting it off, and the living water collapses onto the floor like a normal puddle. Now the crew understands the real danger may not be the creatures outside. It may be Coffee himself. The pressure is affecting him badly. His hands shake, his paranoia grows, and the cuts on his arm show how unstable he has become. He believes the aliens are connected to the rising conflict with Russia, and in his mind, the only solution is to destroy them before they can strike first. Coffee arms the nuclear warhead and straps it to Big Geek, planning to send it down into the trench where the alien civilization seems to live. Monk tries to reason with him, warning that once the countdown starts, they will only have 3 hours before it explodes. But Coffee is no longer listening to reason. The oil workers try to stop him, so Coffee locks them inside and jams the exit door. For a moment, it looks like he has won, but then Jammer, who has finally recovered, frees the trapped crew. Bud and Catfish try swimming under the jammed door, but they cannot open it from below. So Bud takes another route through the moon pool, slipping into the water and coming up behind Coffee. He grabs for Coffee's pistol, but Coffee catches him, and the two begin fighting. Coffee pulls the trigger, but nothing happens. Monk had already removed the bullets. That small move saves Bud's life. The fight turns rough, fast. Catfish joins in and knocks Coffee down with the same hand he jokingly calls the hammer. But Coffee survives the hit, escapes into a submersible, and launches Big Geek with the armed warhead attached. Bud follows in another vehicle, desperate to stop the weapon before it disappears into the trench. Lindsay joins the chase in her own submersible, and the two small machines smash into each other again and again in the dark water. Coffee's vehicle becomes badly damaged and sinks deeper toward the trench. Trapped inside, he goes down with it. But the fight also damages Lindsay's submersible, and water begins pouring in. Bud reaches her, but there is no way to repair the flooding in time. Lindsay makes a terrifying choice. She tells Bud to put on his suit and swim her back to deep core. The water is freezing, and she knows she may not survive the trip. But cold water gives her one small chance. If Bud can get her back quickly enough, the crew might still be able to bring her back. Bud does not want to do it, but Lindsay forces him to listen. So he takes her through the dark ocean, holding onto her body as they return to the platform. When they arrive, the crew pulls them inside and Bud begins fighting to save her. He refuses to stop. Again and again, he tries to bring her back, even when everyone around him starts losing hope. Then, just when it feels over, Lindsay breathes. Bud has pulled her back from the edge, but there is still one final problem. The nuclear warhead is now resting at the bottom of the trench, and the countdown is still running. Someone has to go down there and disarm it. Bud volunteers. The dive is almost impossible. The trench is too deep for normal diving, so they put him into the special white pressure suit and fill it with the same breathing liquid they tested earlier on Hippie's rat. It looks unnatural and terrifying, but it is the only thing that can keep him alive at that depth. Bud begins his descent into the abyss. The deeper he goes, the darker it becomes. Communication becomes weaker. Power starts failing. He is alone, falling into a place no human was ever meant to reach. Finally, he finds the warhead at the bottom and, following Monk's instructions, begins disarming it. The visibility is awful. Time is almost gone, but Bud stays calm and finishes the job. The weapon is stopped. The world above will never know how close it came to disaster, but Bud has no way back. It took too long to reach the bottom, and he does not have enough oxygen left for the return. Lindsay listens helplessly as Bud sends one last message. He tells her he always knew this was a one-way trip, but he had to do it. Then he says what he should have said long ago. He loves her. As Bud prepares to die alone at the bottom of the ocean, a glowing alien appears in front of him. It reaches out, not as an enemy, but as a rescuer. The creature takes Bud deeper, into the heart of an enormous underwater civilization. There, the beings create a pocket of air so he can breathe. They show him images of human conflict, fear, and destruction, but they also show him his own final message to Lindsay. That message changes how they see humanity. Bud's sacrifice proves that humans are not only violent and afraid, they are also capable of love, courage, and selflessness. Then the impossible happens. A massive alien structure rises from the ocean, lifting deep core and everyone inside it safely to the surface. After everything they survived, the storm, the sinking platform, the warhead, and the abyss itself, the crew is alive. Bud walks out and reunites with Lindsay. This time, there is no anger between them, no pride, and no unfinished fight. He simply embraces her. What began as a rescue mission at the bottom of the sea became something much bigger. Humanity looked into the deepest part of the ocean, found a power beyond imagination, and survived only because one man chose compassion over fear.